and I noticed the gods are being carried on the street on sedans. Just behind them, I can see a truck. And there is a pole dancer on the top. She doesn't have too much clothes, and she clearly dances in front of those gods. And I was like, oh my god, what's going on there? Is that really okay? Hi, my name is Amade. Nowadays in Taiwan is advised to stay home due to the pandemic situation. I had a few moments to clean up my home and also my computer, and I encountered lots of old photos and videos, and millions of memories came back to me. And then I thought, hey, why don't I put those memories alive again, add my stories and create a video so others can enjoy it as well. So here I am with 5 most special stories that would never happen to me if I don't move to Taiwan. So bring some tea, cookies, and get ready for story time. Do pineapples grow on trees? When foreigners first come to Taiwan, they love to spend time on their scooters. Back in that day, I wasn't very different. Whenever I had time, I would randomly browse Google Maps and go and explore the area. Wind in the hair, feeling of freedom. I was young. I didn't know what back pain was then. So one day I was in Industrial District of Kaohsiung and I saw pinky, purple-red field by the road. I was curious, what kind of plant is that? Is this some sort of flower? So I pulled over, I took a few steps forward, and to my surprise, that was a pineapple field. Wait, pineapple field? Don't they grow on trees? They cannot grow like this, like cabbage in a field, no way. I feel very embarrassed about my ignorance, but I asked my friends back in Europe, how do pineapples grow? Most people actually think they grow on trees. That was very satisfying to find out that I'm not only the silly one here. Can Taiwanese gods enjoy pole dancers? I love Taiwanese temples, the culture and the architecture. I love to explore it, learn about it. It's like a whole new world to me. If you come from Europe, you're used to that type of architecture, and mostly churches are monumental buildings around. However, from time to time you read a book, you watch a movie or play a video game and think about those Eastern style temples. They are magnificent and full of mysteries. The biggest shock for me, though, was the fact that they are installed in a city. Somehow in my head I had this image of temples on the top of the mountainside or surrounded by water with monks meditating. You can laugh at me, I was silly then, but there are still girls in Asia thinking if they go to Paris, a charming prince will walk up to them near Eiffel Tower and propose during the romantic sunset. So jokes aside, it's a real thing, Paris syndrome. Don't believe, just Google it. Perhaps I had Taiwan syndrome. In Taiwan, life is so much more practical. The land is such a scarcity that the temples can be everywhere, sometimes squeezed into 2 narrow buildings, sometimes coexisting on a second floor over the supermarket, fish, vegetable and fruit vending stalls, etc. Also, beliefs are more laid back. If you live in Europe and ever go to church to attend a Sunday service, it's a very serious place, and the priest might be even angry at you if you wear inappropriate clothes, showing too much of your arms or of your legs. The same happens in mosques. If you're in a tourist place in a hot country, they even offer you clothes to cover. So here in Taiwan, one day, there was a street parade. I want to see what's going on. Lots of noise, smoke, people, fireworks. And I noticed the gods are being carried on the street on sedans. Just behind them, I can see a truck. And there is a pole dancer on the top. She doesn't have too much clothes, and she clearly dances in front of those gods. And I was like, oh my god, what's going on there? Is that really okay? So I asked the person next to me. He was chewing betel nuts. After he spit, he replied, looking okay, touching no okay. Can you count to 2? Numbers in Taiwan are such a big topic. Actually, I love the idea of counting 1, 2, 3, 3 plus 1, 5. It is hilarious, but I'm always curious what happens in some situations. For example, you can call firefighters. Hello, help me! My house is on fire. I live on a 5th floor, but actually we don't have a 4th floor, so if you come from the bottom, it's 4th floor. That's easier for you to rescue me, right? But with the numbers, there is another thing, the finger count. In Europe, we have 2 systems. Usually we start counting with the thumb, 1, 2, 3. But in the UK, they start counting with the index. There is actually a great movie where undercover British soldiers are in a one pub with Germans. One of the Germans is very suspicious about the accent of the Englishman, but in the end he gave up and invited everybody for a drink. He asked how many he wanted. He raised the glass, show like this. Guess what happened? In Taiwan, people also count differently. So one time, my mom, when I was visiting Taiwan, she wanted to go to breakfast shop. She said she wants 2 burgers. Guess how many she got in the end? Are you guys lost? When you want to travel, but you're on a budget, sometimes tickets and gas would be a bit pricey. But there is a way of saving money and at the same time having great adventures. It's called hitchhiking. Yes, it's safe. I did it many times. I traveled myself in Europe, in Asia, and of course, including Taiwan. And of all of these places, probably Taiwan is the easiest to hitchhike. All you have to do is get a sign and write on it "Da Bien Ce" and wait probably a few seconds by the road. I hitchhiked around the island once and I have a few smaller trips, but anyways, always having a blast. Taiwanese are extremely helpful and friendly. Sometimes they're even confused. They stop by and ask, "Hey, are you lost? Where are you going? You go to Taipei? I'll take you to the train station and buy you tickets." This is not how you travel in Taiwan. It doesn't work. Actually, there are 2 mistakes. First of all, it works very well in Taiwan. Second, this is not a point of hitchhiking. It's a way of 2 people interacting with each other. You have an empty seat. We, 2 strangers, can sit together in one car, have a chat, have a laugh, and create a good vibe. And usually people who hitchhiked previously will help you, and next time you see a hitchhiker, you drive your car, you're probably gonna stop and do the same. And sometimes you get so lucky that people actually have more time and they take a detour and show you their neighborhood or some amazing places that you would never find if you travel by your own. Once when I was hitchhiking in the east, a couple stopped the car and they say, "Well, you know, we need to have a stop. We go to the fried chicken shop." So the line outside was like 30 minutes and we waited there because the place was famous. Another time, a guy who stopped showed us a vegetarian restaurant right by the seaside in Shizukanti in Pino. Place was really amazing. Food was also great. Hitchhiking is not only about saving money really, but the whole experience of meeting local people and knowing them better that I totally recommend to try if you never did it in Taiwan. And it's very, very easy. Wait, Taiwan is more than just the cities? When I arrived in Taiwan for the first time, it was rainy season and it literally rained for 2 weeks. I spent most of my time in the city and driving around or using MRT. I was under the impression that Taiwan is just like a never-ending city, but I was so wrong. The other day, a friend of mine invited me on a trip to Pingdong. I was stunned after we left Kaohsiung. Fields, mountains, river, waterfalls. How was it even possible? How could that be so close and I had no idea? I mean, I was here almost 1 year. Then I learned word pubu, which means waterfall in Mandarin, and I googled all the waterfalls in the area. There were tons of pins on my map. I was so excited I could leave the city every week and explore new places. That was so much fun. Waterfalls, natural swimming pools, hot springs, mountains, cold water when the water is soft, and sun burns your skin and you sweat after 5 minutes out. Absolutely love it. The other day, we discovered that there is an amazing place in the mountains in Pingdong with hot springs. It was winter, around the end of the year, so we decided to make a little trip there. Of course, we rode scooters from Kaohsiung. First lesson I learned, 6 hours on a scooter is really, really long ride. My back hurts when I think about this now, after many, many years. Another lesson learned is, if you live in a city, convenience stores are on every corner, gas stations are everywhere. If you go to the mountains, you might not see those for hours, so make sure you fill up the gas in your vehicle before you leave. Otherwise, you will end up like me, asking locals in the mountain town to sell you some gas off. When we arrived to the place that was pointing to the hot spring, obviously it was very, very late and dark, so we set up a tent in the field. One thing about Taiwanese mountains in the winter, they are freezing cold at night. But the next day, well, we survived. We went to the hot spring. It was really gorgeous and totally worth all the struggles. I actually think, nature-wise, it's one of the most beautiful places in Taiwan, or maybe even one of the most beautiful places in the world. And actually I visited again. Fun fact, my wife complained a lot on the way back, how exhausted she was and she declared multiple times that she would never come again. In the end, she changed her mind. And that's the meaning of true love, isn't it?